Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sutta Vacha Jagrehe Parusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadibhi Sambhutam Shodasha Kalamadav Loka Sisrashaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 1, translation. Sutta said, in the beginning of the creation, the Lord first expanded himself in the universal form of the Purusha incarnation and manifested all the ingredients for the material creation. And thus, at first, there was the creation of the 16 principles of material action. This was for the purpose of creating the material universe.
Yasyam bhasi shayanasya yoganidram vitanvatah nabhi hridam bhujada si brahma vishva srijampati.
Text 2, translation. A part of the Purusha lies down within the water of the universe. From the navel lake of his body sprouts a lotus stem, and from the lotus flower atop this stem, Brahma, the master of all engineers in the universe, becomes manifest.
Yasya vayava samsthane kalpito loka vistarah tadve bhagavato rupam visudham sattvam urjitam.
Text 3, translation. It is believed that all the universal planetary systems are situated on the extensive body of the Purusha, but he has nothing to do with the created material ingredients. His body is eternally in spiritual existence par excellence.
Pashyanti adorupam adabhrah chakshusha sahasra padoru bhujana nadbhutam sahasra murdha sravanakshi nasikam sahasra moli ambara kundala lolasat.
Text 4, translation. The devotees with their perfect eyes see the transcendental form of the Purusha, who has thousands of legs, thighs, arms, and faces, all extraordinary. In that body, there are thousands of heads, ears, eyes, and noses. They are decorated with thousands of helmets and glowing earrings and are adorned with garlands.
Etanana vata ranam nidhanam bijam avyayam yasyam samsena shichyante devatiryan naradayah.
Text 5, translation. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source of and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created.
Sa evam prathamam deva kaumaram sargamashritah chachar Dushcharam Brahma Brahmacharyam Akhanditam.
Text 6 translation. First of all, in the beginning of creation, there were the 4 unmarried sons of Brahma, the Kumaras, who, being situated in a vow of celibacy, underwent severe austerities for realization of the absolute truth.
Dutiyam tu bhavayasya rasatal gatam mahim uddharishyan nupadatta yaggesha sokaram vapuhu.
Text 7 translation. The supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices accepted the incarnation of a bull, the second incarnation, and for the welfare of the earth, he lifted the earth from the nether regions of the universe.
Tritriye Vrishi Sargam Ve Dev Vrishi Tvam Upetaya Saha Tantram Satvatam Machishya Nashkarmyam Karmanam Yataha.
Text 8 translation. In the millennium of the Rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devrashi Narad, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fugitive action.
Turiye Dharm Kala Sarge Nar Narayana Rishi Bhutvatmato Pashmupetam Makaram Akarot Dushcharam Tapaha.
Text 9 translation. In the fourth incarnation, the Lord became Nara and Narayan, the twin sons of the wife of King Dharma. Thus, he undertook severe and exemplary penances to control the senses.
Panchama Kapilo Nama Siddhesha Kapala Vipalutam Provacha Provacha Surye Sakhyam Sankyam Tattva Gramya Vinir Nayam.
Text 10 translation. The fifth incarnation, named Lord Kapila, is foremost among perfected beings. He gave an exposition of the creative elements and metaphysics to Asuri Brahmana, for in course of time this knowledge had been lost.
Shashtam Atrer Patyatvam Vratah Prapto Nasuyaya An Vikshikam Alarkaya Prahalada Dibya Uchivan.
Text 11 translation. The sixth incarnation of the Purusha was the son of the sage Atri. He was born from the womb of Anasuya, who prayed for an incarnation. He spoke on the subject of transcendence to Alarka, Prahlada, and others, Yadu, Hei, etc.
Tata Saptama Akutyam Rucher Yajno Bhyajayat Sayamade Suraganer Apat Swayambhu Vataram.
Text 12 translation. The seventh incarnation was Yajna, the son of Prajapati Ruchi and his wife Akuti. He controlled the period during the change of Swayambhuva Manu and was assisted by demigods such as his son Yama.
Ashtame Merud Devyam tu Nabher Jat Uru Karmaha Darshayan Vartamam Vartama Dhiranam Sarvash Shrama Namaskritam.
Text 13, translation. The eighth incarnation was King Rishabha, son of King Nabhi and his wife Meru Devi. In this incarnation, the Lord showed the path of perfection, which is followed by those who have fully controlled their senses and who are honored by all orders of life.
Rishibhiryachito bheje navamam parthivam vapu dugdemam oshadhir vipras tenayam sa usattamaha.
Text 14, translation. O Brahmanas, in the ninth incarnation, the Lord, prayed for by the sages, accepted the body of a king, Prithu, who cultivated the land to yield various produces, and for that reason the earth was beautiful and attractive.
Rupam sajagrehe matsyam chakshu shodhadi chakshush shodhadhi samplave navi apro aropyama himayam apad vevasvatam manum.
Text 15, translation. When there was a complete inundation after the period of the Chakshusha Manu, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vevasvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat.
Suranam udadhim matnatham mandarachalam dadre kamatha rupena prishtha ekadashe vibhu.
Text 16, translation. The 11th incarnation of the Lord took the form of a tortoise, whose shell served as a pivot for the Mandarachala hill, which was being used as a churning rod by the theists and atheists of the universe.
Dhan vantaram dvadasham treyodashamam evacha apayayat suran anyan mohinya mohayam striya.
Text 17, translation. In the 12th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Dhanvantri, and in the 13th, he allured the atheist by the charming beauty of a woman and gave nectar to the demigods to drink.
Chaturdasham nara simham bibrad datyendram urjitam dadar karajeru urav erakam katakridyatha.
Text 18, translation. In the 14th incarnation, the Lord appeared as Narsimha and bifurcated the strong body of the atheist Hiranyakashipu and with his nails, just as a carpenter pierces cane.
Panchadasam Vamanakam Kritvagad Advarambale Padatrayam Yachamanaha Prayaditsastri Pistapam.
Text 19, translation. In the 15th incarnation, the Lord assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana, Vamana, and visited the arena of sacrifice arranged by Maharaj Bali. Although at heart, he was willing to regain the kingdom of the 3 planetary systems, he simply asked for donation of 3 steps of land.
Avatare Shodashame Pashyan Brahma Druho Nripan Trihi Sapta Kritva Kupito Nish Shatram Akaro Mahim.
Text 20, translation. In the 16th incarnation of the Godhead, the Lord, as Bhragupati, annihilated the administrative class, Kshatriyas, 21 times, being angry with them because of their rebellion against the Brahmanas, the intelligent class.
Tata Saptadashe Jata Satyavatyam Parasharat Chakre Vedataro Sakha Drishtva Pumsho Ila Medhasa.
Text 21, translation. Thereafter, in the 17th incarnation of Godhead, Sri Vyasadeva appeared in the womb of Satyavati through Parashar Muni, and he divided the one Veda into several branches and sub-branches, seeing that the people in general were less intelligent.
Nara Deva Tvam Apannaha Surakarya Chikirshaya Samudra Nigraha Dini Chakre Viryani Ataparam.
Text 22, translation. In the 18th incarnation, the Lord appeared as King Rama in order to perform some pleasing work for the demigods. He exhibited superhuman powers by controlling the Indian Ocean and then killing the atheist King Ravana, who was on the other side of the sea. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sula Prabhu and Vinamataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Nice reading of the citation. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Okay, so today's verse is number 15. Sorry, share my screen once again. Yes, we will recite the verse and read the translation purport once again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Maheshtaki. Verse 15. Rupam Sajagrahe Marsham Chakshusho Dadi Samplave Navya Ropya Mahimayam Apadvaiva Swatam Manum. Word for word. Rupam, form. Sir, he Jagrehe accepted Matsyam of a fish. Chakshusha, Udadi, water, Samplave, inundation. Navi, on the boat. Aropya, keeping on. Mahi, the earth. Mayam, drowned in. Apat, protected. Vaivashwatam, Vaivashwata, Manu, the father of man. Translation and purport by Shivatavata. When there was a complete inundation after the period of Chakshisa Manu, and the whole world was deep within water, the Lord accepted the form of a fish and protected Vaivasvata Manu, keeping him up on a boat. Purport. According to Sripad Sridhar Swami, the original commentator on the Bhagavatam, there is not always a devastation after the change of every Manu. And yet, this inundation, after the period of Chakshasa Manu, took place in order to show some wonders to Satyavrata. But Sri Jiva Goswami has given definite proofs from authoritative scriptures like Vishnu Dharmottara, Markandeya Puran, Harivamsha, etc., that there is always a devastation after the end of each and every Manu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has also supported Srila Jiva Goswami, and he, Sri Chakravarti, has also quoted from Bhagavatamrita about the inundation after each Manu. Apart from this, the Lord, in order to show special favor to Satyavrata, a devotee of the Lord in this particular period, incarnated himself. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Auravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangham Langhaite Giram Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinakaranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, all of you, to be here on this Tuesday evening. Today is also auspicious day of Sita Navami, appearance of Srimati Sita Rani, the consort of Lord Sri Ram. Also the disappearance day of Madhu Pandit, and also Janva Mata, the consort of Nityananda. So we have about 30 minutes. So we'll try to cover a little bit of discussion on those three personalities as well, and see how much we can discuss. Okay, so we are on this 15th verse, which happens to be now which incarnation is this? Like in the list. So Sutta Goswami has delineated all the incarnations, in total 22 incarnations in this particular reference, and this is the 10th incarnation he's referring to, and it is also in the Jayadev Swami's prayer of Dashavatara Stotram, that this is the first one actually in the Dashavatara Stotram. Pralaya Payodi Jale Dhitavan Asivedam Vihita Vahita Charitram Makedam Keshavadhita Meena Sharira Jay Jagadisha Hare. He says, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of a fish, all glories to you. You easily acted as a boat in the form of a giant fish, just to give protection to the Vedas, which had become immersed in the turbulent sea of devastation. So this is Prabhupada explained in the purport, and further down in the 8th canto, last chapter, 24th chapter, there is more explanation of this particular incarnation. So we were discussing previously, there are 14 Manus in the day of Brahma, there are 1,000 Yuga cycles, and each Manu covers about 71 Yuga cycles. So this day of Brahma is like the 4,300,000,000, something like that. It's a large time. And but the purpose is always the same. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. The Lord appears at different times whenever there is this call from his devotees. Primarily, it is explained in the scriptures that as far as the establishment of the dharma or the vinashaya dushkritam, the annihilation of the miscreants is concerned, it can be done by the Lord's devotees as well, or maybe some expansions, but the Lord personally appears mainly to give joy to his devotees. He performs various pastimes just for the one purpose, to give joy to the devotees. Also, like this becomes a topic of discussion, like what we're discussing today and every day in Bhagavatam. There's so many interesting topics that comes up, the pastimes of the Lord, and that's how the devotees are constantly nourished, discussing the pastimes. Katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So devotees amongst themselves keep discussing the various pastimes, the glorious pastimes, very interesting pastimes of the Lord. And in various ways the Lord appears. Every time, each time it is a unique way. Like we've been going through so many incarnations. It's interesting, like how many different unique ways Lord is appearing. And it doesn't repeat, to keep it always interesting, to always attract the heart of devotees, and always inspiring devotees, and at the same time setting the things right for the rebellious soul. So this incarnation of Matsya was specifically to give joy to his devotee Satyavrata. There was a king named Satyavrata. Likewise, as we were discussing the nature of the Lord to give joy, like he appears as Varaha Dev to give joy to Bhumi Devi, at the same time protecting her. As Kapila, he appears to give joy to the mother Devahuti and Kaldam Rishi. Dattatreya appears for the joy of Atri and Anushuya. Lord Narasimha appears for the joy of Prahlad. Likewise, Vamana appears for Aditi and Bali Maharaj. All those wonderful pastimes. The devotees, they call for the Lord, like our in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Advaita Acharya was calling for the Lord. So the Lord appeared on his request. And likewise. So in the two Matsya Avatara that is referred here and further in the 8th canto, the first avatar incarnation as Matsya was at the time of Swayambhu Manu, when it was the day of the end of that particular Manvantara. What really happened is Lord Brahma, as he went to sleep, and he was constantly, as he sleeps, he's reciting the Vedas, was emanating from his mouth. But there was this demon, Hayagriva, who stole the Vedas because he had yogic power, so he could do a lot of things. So somehow it's not inconceivable how the demons can do things and how Lord can actually even do better than that, and then rescue the Vedas. Then the Lord appeared as Matsya, and he killed the demon, and he restored the Vedas and protected the Vedas once again. That was the one incarnation of Matsya that's mentioned in the scriptures. The second incarnation is that Chakshusha Manu, the 6th incarnation. So we are at the moment in the 7th Manvantara, 7th Manu, Vaivashvata. And so this Vaivashvata is also named as Shraddhadev. So in his previous birth, he was King Satyavrata Manu, King Satyavrata. And he was a very pious king, and always chanting the glories of the Lord, and performing all the religious activities and devotional services. And there was this pastime that happened. I don't know if anyone wants to share whatever they know of this pastime. Would anyone like to speak?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, I think there was a story, like King Satyavrata, every day he goes to the sea and he does the oblation.
Yes.
And then he was doing, then in his palm in the palm full of water, the one small golden fish comes in his hand. And then that golden, then the king was putting back, and all the time, he picks up the fish, comes, and then the fish told him that, can you put me in, and it started growing. Then she said that, can you put me in a bigger water pot? And that fish keep on growing and growing, and then at the end, he has to put him in the ocean. And then the fish told that after a certain time there will be annihilation, and will be the whole world will be flooded.
Yes.
And at that time, you bring all these herbs and all these Vedas and scriptures and everything. You come in this boat with your kingsman and family and everybody. You board in the boat, and at that time I will come, and then the fish Matsdev comes, and then it's a special fish because it comes with the horns. And then the king, he just anchor his boat to the fish's horns, and that way he rescues.
Perfect, Mataji. Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna Mataji. Perfect. You covered so many beautiful points. So please,
whatever little I remember.
That was very nice. Actually, you remembered pretty much everything. It was perfect, actually. So what really happened is, as part of the Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj started to wonder. So after Shukadeva Goswami has explained the pastime of the Vamanadev's appearance, and Vamadev appeared as a dwarf, like a small child, and he's begging some alms from the king Bali, and he performed the pastimes. And then Maharaj Parikshit somehow was remembering like what happened in the time of the fish incarnation? Why did Lord appear as a fish? Like fish is like, in one way, it's quite abominable, species in that sense, because also in terms of the human evolution, fish, are considered lowest because they suffer the most. So Parikshit Maharaj just asking that question, why, the Lord appears as a fish? So because normally it is only because of the karma, in the cycle of karma, that as we understand, 8.4 million different species one can take birth into. But Lord is independent of all that. So why did Lord choose to incarnate as a fish? So this is and this is, then after that, the Sutta Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami starts to explain. The Lord, always appears, Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmanitaya, Jagaditaya, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Namah. The Lord is always, is always incarnating for the sake of protecting his devotees, the cows and Brahmanas. He's always fulfilling the desires of the devotees and giving the joy. So, but Lord is, obviously is not impacted by any of those things. It's just his wonderful ways of appearing is inconceivable. How he can appear in various forms is inconceivable. And as you were saying, this King Satyavrata was always, he was offering oblations in the water, and he was doing that. What he saw is there was a small fish that appeared in his hand, and to his surprise, this little fish started to speak, which was amazing. Like, how can a fish speak? You can't understand this. But the fish started to speak, oh king, you don't put me back, because as soon as Satyavrata got the fish in his palm, he wanted to throw it back in the water. Then the fish speaks and says, you can't, please don't throw me in the water. There are bigger fishes who could just eat me up. So I'm also your citizen. I need protection. And so the King Satyavrata, is a devotee. So the devotee is, what is the nature of devotee? Is always merciful, always friendly to all the living entities. So this is one of the qualities of a devotee. As there are many qualities explained in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So a couple of those like this, Maitri and Karuna, these are very important qualities. So Satyavrata, obviously being a soft-hearted, devotee, so this is a little fish that's come in my protection, so I need to do something. So he says, okay, then I will not throw you back in the water, and will put you in a jug. And as soon as he puts in a jug, the fish starts to expand, and very soon the fish says, oh, this is too small, please, can I get a better place to stay? I can't be in this little jar. And Satyavataman, is like amazed, why is this, how come this is grown? And again he puts in a small well, but then the small well, the fish says, no, if you put me in a small well, again he says the same thing, but at the same time it expands. And then the fish says once again, oh, this is too small, I need a better place than this, I need a bigger water body. So then the king puts fish in a bigger well, and likewise again the fish grows, and again puts in a lake. From the lake goes to river, and finally gets to the ocean, as Mataji was explaining. And then when it gets there, and again in the ocean also fish says the same thing. Are you putting me in this ocean, but there are all these large fishes here like sharks and all, so I'm in danger with them. But then Satyavrata king, he thinks there's something not right. It must be my Lord. How is it possible for anyone to grow so much in a day's time? So this little fish has grown so much, and he starts to glorify the Lord. And the Lord, after actually asks him, who are you? And the Lord explains, that how he has actually come for a special purpose. And the purpose is that because Lord could see that the world, of all the three worlds, all the three worlds of the planetary system will be inundated in the water. So to protect that, he has come, and he, as Mataji, he was explaining, then he says, be ready with all the 7 Saptarishis, all the Aushadhis, and all the cows, and you can board the ship, and you tie that boat with the Vasuki to the fish horn, the single horn fish. I will come. And it happened like that. And as soon as it does happen after 7 days, while this king was performing his, tapasya, and it happened exactly as was predicted by the Lord, and the Lord protects everyone. And then also in that journey, the Lord speaks the Vedas to all the sages who were in the boat, and to the king. Now, what I was thinking is, what is unique situation is how Lord has appeared as a small fish and seeking shelter. He's coming in a very humble situation, like, oh, I'm a little fish and I deserve to be protected. You are the king, and you please help me, please protect me. So this is amazing how Lord appears as someone very small and very humble. And this is something I found very interesting. Also, Prabhupada says the same thing, which I thought maybe we can expand a little bit on. He says in the last sentence, apart from this 2 incarnation, Lord, in order to show special favor to Satyavrata, a devotee of the Lord, he appears. So what was the special favor? I was thinking special favor, what happens is, special favor is called Sukriti. Now, by that act of, protecting the Lord, this King Satyavrata has performed a Sukriti. What is a Sukriti? Does anyone know? Sukriti.
Pious deeds?
Yes, pious deed. Sukriti, like this is how the Lord has, generated the Sukriti. Like Prabhupada's disciples one time was saying to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we must have done some good karmas in the past life to be here. Prabhupada said, no, actually, I created your karma. Both are true in a way, but this is the amazing, the process of this Krishna consciousness is how this little Sukriti that we perform and how that whole thing is being arranged is amazing. And how Lord, there was a saying I forgot, but like enters as a pin and it blows up as a bomb or something like this. This saying, I'm forgetting that. It's very interesting though. Each and every devotee, if we discuss with them in my own life, also remember, I just went to the temple as a friend took me, just come, there's a very nice prasad there, which is, which will come to the point. But we go there and everyone is just behaving very nicely and we say, oh, this is a good place. And just by that thought of, by thought of appreciating the devotees, the Sukriti is created. Just by that thought of appreciating that we are getting some nice prasad, or we appreciate the deities, or we say holy names, this holy name appears in such a small way. It is explained in the scripture like holy names, even if spoken jokingly, it has the same effect. In one time, there was an article that was written, and that was not in favor of our movement. But the only thing that Prabhupada asked was, how many times has Krishna been written on this article? And it said so many times that Prabhupada said, yeah, that's wonderful. That's it. Doesn't matter what is it. But even jokingly or in a derogatory way, the name is spoken, that means the Sukriti is created. That is the power of holy name. And this is so subtle. This is the Sukriti being created, even unknowingly, like Ajamil was just calling his son. He was not calling Narayan, but he was calling his son, Narayan, Narayan. And the Lord, say, wow, I'm being called. So immediately, sends the team of Vishnu Dutas. And even, like in the musical way, like the kirtan, there's so many varieties of kirtan that happen. Like recently there was some other rap dance or all sorts of dances or musical entertainments, all sorts of, you can present the holy name in any way. It is always purifying. So this is, and again, this is very subtle. We don't realize, a lot of people, like we also go on the Harinam on the Saturdays, and people appreciate that. Oh, this is good. They're singing really nicely. And some of them come in, jump in, and they start to dance and then participate and sing. And with that matter, with just doing that act, they perform that Sukriti. And this is so subtle. If you think about it, every devotee will have probably similar experience of how subtly it all started. Some devotee pumping into us, giving us a maha, a little sweet, or calling us for prasadam, or just handing a book. We go out, distribute books, and people get interested. Oh, what is this about? This is interesting. And then that's all the Sukriti is created. And Lord, after that, takes over the whole thing. And he performs all this inconceivable, pastimes, and creates the situations for people to then, take more and more and more. This is how Satyava, if you put the parallel, to hear how the Lord has appeared as a small fish, but how in the end, although starting as seeking shelter becomes the shelter for Satyavata. And similarly, although, in our life, sometimes, okay, can we take a book or make a small donation? Okay, I can give this donation, no problem. Or I can come to the temple, take darshan. And just by doing those small acts, as the Lord sees that, the genuinity in the heart, and he immediately, then takes over from there. And this is so many different experiences. And similarly, devotees like Srila Prabhupada, when he went to get the ticket for the boat, Srimati Moraji, right? And he was so humble. He just gave me a ticket. Like she was so afraid of putting Prabhupada in the cargo ship. But she said, okay, if you're insisting so much, and that's fine. And Srila Prabhupada goes to the New York City or and the Boston, and then what is he doing? Just preparing lots of nice gulab jamun, that used to be called the Hare Krishna bullets, and he would just feed all these people who would come to hear what he has to speak. He would just feed them all nicely, unlimitedly. Actually, some of them were sharing. We spoke to Prabhupada disciples that they were eating like, they were all young men and women, and they were like eating 15, 20 chapatis, and there were like so many of them. Prabhupada was just alone. He would just keep making, and he would keep serving them, and then cooking, speaking about Bhagavad Gita and different books, and then again cleaning as well himself. And everyone will come and they don't have to do anything. So subtly Srila Prabhupada started. But then, bit by bit, how it happened, everyone started to just, give their life to Srila Prabhupada, and how such a big movement has been created by just a subtle start. And this can happen, in various ways. And even sometimes, deities, we bring home deities, it comes to, okay, small Gaurnitayas come in, or we can start serving them, just offer, some arati and whatever we cook at home, we offer as bhogas, the small activities that we start to do. And how then over a period of time, the deities become such attachment to the devotees, and then how the deities, although initially, we serve them, but then they protect us and they give us shelter. Similarly, prasad, we talk about holy names. All these aspects of Krishna consciousness is so subtle, but so solid, so profound. And Mahaprabhu, presented himself as so humble to Sarvabhauma, if you know the pastime, like So when Sarvabhauma saw Mahaprabhu, he was thinking, oh, he's such a young and such a handsome sannyasi. How will he be able to protect himself? I must teach him Vedanta. I must, protect him. So he was like giving shelter to Mahaprabhu. And he was speaking about Vedanta for 7 days. Mahaprabhu says, yes, I'm just a young brahmachari. I don't know. I'm a young sannyasi. You please, I'm taking your shelter. And what happens finally, Sarvabhauma, surrenders unto the Lord, and he converts from a logician, sort of Mayavadi, into a great devotee. And there's one pastime of Mahaprasad with the Sarvabhauma as well. Like one time Mahaprabhu, reaches early in the morning to Sarvabhauma's place with the Jagannath Prasad. And Sarvabhauma, the moment he sees the Prasad, he gets in his hand, he just honors straight away. And Mahaprabhu says, how come, you not even taken bath or anything, you not even wash your mouth, and how you taken it? Sarvabhauma says, no, this is prasad, this is the highest. So then Lord Chaitanya becomes so happy with that, that transformation. And all the other devotees also, they become so joyful seeing the transformation. Similarly, Prakashanand Saraswati also, Mahaprabhu says, hey, I am just a fool, I don't know, my spiritual master said, I don't understand much philosophy, just keep chanting your names, chanting the holy names, and you'll be fine. So I'm just chanting and dancing, I don't know much. But Prakashanand, got attracted to Mahaprabhu in the same way. So, and then, what happens is Prakashanand obviously becomes a great devotee of the Lord with all his, how many, I think 70,000 disciples, they all become devotees and then start to perform Sankirtan. And likewise, so the only thing, the expectation, if we can come to the point, is also said at the same time, bhakti is not so easy. So although it is given so easily, it is still not easy. So we have to still work hard to attain the final stage of prema. But the process itself is so beautiful. And Lord is working so hard, like he's like Lord Brahma in this pastime of Satyavata. Lord Brahma is, seeing the waters coming from the ocean. He's thinking it's already night, so he falls asleep. But Lord is not sleeping. He's always, active, always alert to the call of the devotees, just like, Gajendra's call. He was so alert to come and protect him. And he's always working hard. So we have to also work hard a little bit to attain the bhakti. So this is the pastime of Satyavata, and the little bit of lesson from here. And we know, like, Krishna is always, he's willing to do anything for Pandavas. For Arjuna, he became a charioteer, for them became a messenger. What all did he do for Pandavas? Just because the key point, the Pandavas they were always, how do you say, malleable to the Lord's desire. Whatever Lord's desire, they could immediately understand, and they would just only act that way. And this is the beautiful Krishna consciousness, and how Krishna enters in our life in a small way, and how he makes our lives so joyful and takes over. But this is the it's already time, actually 2040. So a little bit on Sita. Would anyone like to speak on Mother Sita? Maybe it will be good purification. Whatever, 1 or 2 points we can speak. So when she was a little girl, Parshuram once appeared in his in the house in Janaka's, and he had a bow. There was 2 bows. It said that he had a bow of Lord Vishnu, and there was the bow that was at the place of King Janaka was the bow of the Lord Shiva. So what happened is, as Parshuram was entering into the palace, he left his bow outside and he entered. And at the time, Sita Devi was just a little girl, and she comes around and she just starts to pick up that bow and starts to play around with it. And Parshuram comes back and he can't find his bow, and says, wondering what happened. Then he finds that Sita Devi is playing with that. He's amazed, like, how can she be so strong? And then, he says, he's amazed, and he says to Janaka, and then also then it appears that she can also she was similarly playing with that bow of Lord Shiva. So then Parshuram says, she's so powerful, she must be married to the most powerful personality. And, that's when the Swayamvar was set, and we know that. And some other pastime also. Anyone would like to say, like, what happened when Lord Ram was exiled 14 years to the forest, and what happened? What would like to say anything? I will just speak. Sorry. What was beautiful that I found was when the Lord was leaving Ayodhya, and he was saying to Mother Sita that the forest, is not a good place. It's not it's very dangerous to be there. The wild animals, there will be difficulty to find any food. There will be all the time thorns, so you should not be coming. So with me, Mother Sita says, when I married you, I want to be with you wherever you are. And wherever you are is the Ayodhya for me, and wherever you are not is the forest for me. And she made so many beautiful arguments that Lord had to finally concede and take her with him. And there are so many. There's also, we have the disappearance day of Madhu Pandit. And Madhu Pandit was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit, and he was worshipping the deities of Gopinath. Gopinath was one of the deities that were carved by the Vrajanath, the grandson of Krishna, great grandson actually. And we know about the deities Gopinath. They are also the Prayojan deities for us. So Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojan. So they are the Prayojan deities for us. So Shriman Rasa Sarambi, once you are Tatasita, Kalsana Venu Swaner Gopi, Gopinathas Yashtami. This is the prayer that we speak. And Madhu Pandit was always serving those deities. And there is also the day, the disappearance day of the Janva Mata, was the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. And she actually, after the departure of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and all the Panchatattvas, she became the acharya actually and the guide for all the devotees. And under her guidance, Narottam Das Thakur performed that great feast at the Keturi Gram, and where it is said that all the Panchatattvas also appeared in that particular festival that was celebrated. And so the Narottam Das Thakur, all the devotees could take darshan of the Panchatattvas at that time. And Janva Mata also then visited Vrindavan, and she stayed in Radha Kund for some time. So there is a place, her bhajan kut is there in Radha Kund. And she finally merged into in the same Radha Gopinath temple, Ananda Mandir. So she merged himself as a part in her pastimes. So this is 45 devotees. So I think it's time to open up any questions or any comments or discussion points.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to you.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful class, very nice, very beautifully said that yes, Krishna comes subtly in our lives and then he takes over, and it's very true for I think most of the devotees. I think we just came across with a very little knowledge, just wanted to know a bit, and Krishna has given everything so much, just like we have taken one little step and Krishna has come to us with the 1,000 times more he has given us. What we little bit of inquiry in our head, and Krishna has given everything. Srila Prabhupada has given everything. So it was so nice. This class was so nicely very nicely.
Thank you for encouraging words. It is true, actually. I was experiencing this, like thinking more and more about it. We realize, wow, how it has all happened. If you think back about the time, it's wow, we traveled so much, we're not even realizing how Krishna day by day, is just is giving us so much, and through his devotees, obviously, there's so many other paraphernalia he has through his devotees, with prasad, the deities and prasad, holy name, everything. So thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna. One more thing, I was just thinking, I can't remember the exact title. In one of the BTG magazines, I was reading, it was by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, and he had written about Mother Sita, about a yogini, a story of a yogini
Yes,
who was
yes.
something like that. And then the one thing about Ramayana, like I know about the people of India, they don't, the modern generation don't like about, is why did Lord Rama listen to the dhobi, the washerman, and then ask Sita to do the Agni Pariksha. I think the in the fire she has to prove her purity or something. So this story was very nicely that the Sita that Ravana had kidnapped is not the real Sita. She was the yogini, or the from the fire. They were just extra.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. The story is very nicely explained by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. And when I read the story, I thought, wow, this should be advertised when people have doubts in their mind that why did Lord Rama. Even I used to think that that's not right. What but the story is so beautiful actually. Mother Sita was completely different from.
There was there's also a pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita like that. So there was this Brahmana who invited Mahaprabhu when he was on the South India tour to his house for prasad, and as Mahaprabhu went there to his house, and he would not cook, and he was very sad. Mahaprabhu asked, why are you not cooking? What's happening with the prasad? He said, oh, it is so sad. I can't forget Mother Sita was kidnapped, and this, and then Mahaprabhu consoles him at the time. Then he goes further down the South India, and he found this particular reference from a from a authorized scripture, and Mahaprabhu on the way back travels, takes a detour to go to the Brahman and then gives him this reference, and the Brahman becomes so joyful. So this is the same thing. Yes, Mataji, it is something everyone will find useful. That was amazing. When everyone find that difficult, but when we get this fact, it is so relieving. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, everyone. In Valmiki Ramayana, it explained that Mother Sita, Lord Ram never sent her to the forest, because when Lord Ram found out that Mother Sita was pregnant with twins, he was so happy, and he asked Mother Sita, what is your desire? What do you want in this situation? Mother Sita said, I just want to spend some time with the sage's wife in Valmiki's ashram. And then Mother Sita, and then Lord Ram fulfilled that desire. But at the same time, this dhobi things happen. Lord Ram, do you think because of a dhobi, Lord Ram would send Mother Sita to the forest? This is just like people pick the bit, right? They pick that, because of the dhobi. But actually, Mother Sita herself asked to spend some time in the forest with the sage's wife. In this way, she wanted to also know the way of life, because she has lived in the forest for 12 years, for 14 years with the sages. Now she wanted in this situation to spend time with the wife of the sages. That's why she was sent to Valmiki Muni Ashram. And there is another thing also is not mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana. With all the respect that I owe all the devotees here, I just want to clarify this, and I can send the text also. Parashuram ji, he never went to Janakapur, and Mother Sita never touched the bow. Even people say she was playing and she lifted the bow, she cleaned the place, or she got her bowl. Mother Sita saw the bow the day. Then she didn't even saw the bow. Lord Ram just wanted to on the request of Vishwamitra Muni, he had to lift the book. And there was never this time that Mother Sita wanted to garland Lord Ram immediately. She was waiting this garland. It never happened because Lord Ram said, I was told to lift the bow. I was not told that I was going to get married, but I have to ask a permission from my father, from King Dasarath, before doing anything. So then Janaka, King Janaka sent his messengers to Ayodhya to tell Dasarath that, King Dasarath, that he has to come because Lord Ram has done something very just, and so he is going to get married. So in this way, it happened. And also we need to bear in mind that Mother Sita was 6 years old and Lord Ram was 13 years old. So they could not take decision by themselves. So this is from Valmiki Ramayana, which is authentic.
Amazing.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. You have so much knowledge of Valmiki Ramayana. Thank you for sharing all that. Thank you.
It's not me, Prabhuji. It's I'm following Valmiki Ramayana through a Mataji in Australia. She is from the South Indian descendant, and her relatives, all her ancestors have always followed Valmiki Ramayana, and she explains so beautifully, word by word. And she's like another Prabhupada. There's no other Prabhupada, but she is just after, you know. But she gets all the references to show us many things that we have been taught, because just like our Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana has many different editions, and these editions have been compiled by different people. Like, why did our Srila Prabhupada say Bhagavad Gita as it is? Because he has translated as it is. But now if we go, even the Lakshman Rekha is not there. Even some people say that Lakshman has never slept for 14 years. That also is proved wrong. Where Lakshman was sleeping, that also is proved in the Valmiki Ramayana. So sorry, excuse me, I'm talking too much now.
Thank you so much. I will only make one point. You know, what we hear from devotees is, see, there are other, you know, there's Valmiki Ramayana, but there are other either commentaries or some other passion that have been explained by the devotees. So long it fits into the correct tattva, those leelas are, you know, the glorification of the Lord is fine. But I take your point. You know, it's something not in the Valmiki Ramayana. Valmiki Ramayana is the original.
Yes.
But if something which is still giving joy to the devotees, you know, there's a Loka Katha as well. There's so many, what is called a Grama Katha. You know, there are, if you go to Vrindavan, so many different pastimes, but they're very nice, very nice to hear and enlivening for our devotional life. So if it is like that, we just, you know, accept it. So long it gives us the joy, and, you know, it does not negatively impact the tattva. Sometimes it is, you know, not presented correctly, so we reject that. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Jolly
I just would like to say about how, although I'm a neophyte and I show interest in Krishna consciousness, Krishna shows me the way every day. There's subtle messages that I experience, and I am so he actually shows me the way constantly, and only because I'm aware, because I'm sure Krishna loves everybody, and he's always helpful and giving us a helping hand, but we never took notice. And since I've been taking notice, everything is so beautiful, everything is full of Krishna. And it's so lovely. It's little subtle things that you take for granted every day. It's there right in our faces because he's so merciful. So thank you. And I love this kind of class where, you know, it's an exchange with the audience. We are having a discussion, which is lovely because we feel inclusive. Same as is Krishna Katha. So it's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Jolly Matai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Just a couple of quick observations. Firstly, I think you mentioned bhakti is difficult. Actually, bhakti, as Krishna says, is blissful joyful when performed. It is actually quite simple. It is our polluted mind that detracts us away from it and makes it difficult. The process of bhakti is very, very simple, very straightforward.
Yes, it is.
It is our polluted mind that allows us to be detracted away from the process.
It is true, yeah. So one devotee was saying, actually, it is so, like maybe Prabhupada was saying, it is so simple that you can miss it. As you said, it's simple for simple, but complex for complex-minded. Yeah, so it is.
And on the same vein and same point, I think a lot of the discussion point that some of the Matajis have pointed out today, we, because of our polluted, contaminated conditioning in terms of the material world, we portray our imaginations and our thoughts onto what the Lord's Leela is. Without fully understanding. Lord's Leela is always perfect. Whatever he does is always perfect. We just don't know the subtle nuances and the detail behind it. I mean, there are so many past lives and births are involved, and karmic burning of processes are involved in all of these things. And of course, there are lots of background to this, which only comes when you understand the literature and understand the Shastra better through learned devotees like yourself and others, of course. So I think it's very easy for us to criticize, but it's because the difficult path is to actually understand what the process is and understand what the Leela is. So thank you again for a wonderful class.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Krishna Mataji.
Prabhuji, in Srila Prabhupada, he always recommended Valmiki Rishi's, Ramayana. And as Mataji was saying that, certain, but this Ramayana, they have been, performed in so many different yugas as well. So sometimes you hear different pastimes from different kalpas and things. So that's why we hear different stories.
That's a very nice point, Mataji. Thank you so much for adding that. Absolutely.
Prabhu, I just heard.
Thank you. Very nice point. Yes. These pastimes are happening in so many kalpas and yugas, and they may be coming from different places. Yes. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so it's nearly 9. Thank you so much, devotees, for being here. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Kalpa ki kripa sindhu
Patitanam
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.